So you live in an era where education is, well, it's more accessible than ever before in human history.
Right, the doors are wide open.
Exactly. The doors are open, the seats are filled. We have more technology, more information right at our fingertips than any generation before us.
Absolutely.
So I have to ask you, why are today's teenagers experiencing just like the deepest, darkest sense of emptiness when they sit in those classrooms?
It is the ultimate modern paradox, isn't it? I mean, we built the schools, we passed the laws,
Yeah.
but the souls inside these institutions are just entirely hollowed out. Like the physical seats are occupied, but the meaning of the institution has completely vanished.
Which is exactly why today we are tearing down the facade of the modern high school.
Yeah.
We're taking a deep dive into a multi-year, on-the-ground sociological field study.
And it is a fascinating one.
It really is. It was conducted by Florencia D'Aloisio. She's a researcher for the National Scientific and Technical Research Council in Córdoba, Argentina. The study is called Folding Youth, and we are going to look at two radically different schools in the exact same city to uncover the brutal reality of class and privilege hiding right behind the classroom doors.
And just to set the stage for you listening, D'Aloisio didn't just, look at spreadsheets and test scores.
No, not at all.
She spent years really embedding herself in these environments, breaking through those polite, rehearsed answers teenagers usually give adults.
Because teenagers always lie to adults.
Oh, universally. But she wanted to figure out what the daily act of going to school actually means to them. And her findings are going to completely rewire how you view education.
Before we jump in, though, a really quick but important disclaimer.
Yeah.
We are not here to take political sides today.
No, strictly the facts.
Right. We are simply reporting the unfiltered, on-the-ground reality experienced by these students and the findings presented by the author. No spin, just the raw data.
Exactly. The data speaks for itself. And frankly, the reality these students face is, well, it's too urgent for political posturing. We are looking at the raw mechanics of society here.
So imagine finding out the golden ticket of a high school diploma is actually just a piece of painted cardboard for some kids.
Yeah.
While for others, it's a VIP pass they barely even have to look at to get to the front of the line.
It's staggering.
That brings us to our core interrogation for today. Is the education system actually broken? Or is it functioning exactly the way it was secretly designed to?
That question is basically the ghost haunting this entire study.
I love that phrasing.
Well, to answer it, she forces us to look at two contrasting realities. We have Case A, which is a public school sitting on the absolute margins of the city, serving the most economically vulnerable kids.
Right.
And then we have Case B, an elite, highly exclusive private school. Geographically, they are in the exact same city. Sociologically, they are light years apart.
You've been to school. You probably think you know how the machinery works. You sit at a desk, listen to a teacher, get a grade. I need you to prepare to unlearn everything.
Prepare for a shock.
Because right now, there is a massive era of anxiety surrounding school. You probably think students skip class because they're just rebellious, right?
Or lazy.
Or lazy, yeah. But the truth is so much more uncomfortable. They are incredibly smart. They know the diploma is depreciating.
It's true. High school has completely lost its magic halo. We are living through a global phenomenon of diploma inflation.
Diploma inflation, yeah.
A high school degree used to mean something highly specific in the job market. Now it's worth less and less.
It's basically crashing.
Crashing headfirst into a society that is rapidly fragmenting. In the context of this study in Argentina, the public high school is no longer viewed as a sacred temple of knowledge.
Not at all.
It has mutated. It is now the absolute last wall of defense against total social collapse.
Okay, wait. I'm stuck on something here. You're telling me these kids are hyper-aware that this diploma is essentially a depreciating asset.
Yes, they know it.
It's a currency losing value by the minute. So why are they bothering to show up to a crumbling building at 7 a.m.?
It's a brilliant question.
Like, if the kids know it's worth less, why are enrollment rates still climbing? The math just isn't mathing for me.
And that is the exact paradox the researcher highlights. The data shows enrollment is climbing. The educational system is technically expanding its reach.
Okay.
But, and this is the crucial part, social mobility for the poor is completely frozen. They are not moving up the socioeconomic ladder.
Wow.
They're showing up to school because the alternative is falling off the map entirely. If they leave Case A, they don't just, go get a decent entry-level job.
They don't go work at a nice office.
No. The alternative is the street. The alternative is the illegal drug trade. They stay to physically survive.
So it's not a ladder anymore, it's a life raft.
Exactly. A life raft.
And to understand how we got here, we really have to look at the history, because high schools used to be the equivalent of elite country clubs. Now, for the kids in Case A, they are holding pens.
That's exactly what they are.
D'Aloisio outlines this fascinating 100-year cycle. Walk us through how a country club turns into a holding pen.
It's a historical loop of the state's involvement in education. If you go back to the late 19th century in Argentina, high schools were explicitly designed to train the offspring of landowning oligarchs.
So just the super rich.
The 1%. They were built to teach a tiny, hyper-privileged elite how to rule the country. The curriculum was heavy on the humanities, preparing them for liberal professions.
Right.
It was an exclusive club with very high walls.
Okay, so pure elite incubator, but that obviously changed at some point.
Right. Jump forward to the 1940s, during the Peronist governments, the state decides to open the dams.
Okay, progress.
Well, sort of. They didn't just let working-class kids into the elite club. They built a different room altogether.
Oh, of course.
They created technical schools designed to teach workers' kids factory skills. The goal was rapid industrialization of the nation.
So the state is heavily involved, but they're sorting kids by class. Elite kids learn to rule. Working class kids learn to operate machinery.
Precisely. But then comes the 1970s. The 1976 military dictatorship brought massive repression.
Right, a really dark time.
And crucially, for our story, the state effectively walked away from its financial responsibility for public education. They decentralized it.
Wait, so the state just walked away?
Completely walked away. They handed the schools over to local municipalities, but they didn't hand over the funding to actually run them.
Which sets the stage for the 1990s.
Exactly. The 1990s brought intense market chaos. Neoliberal economic policies took hold. The state shrank its footprint, and market logic invaded the public sphere.
So everything fractures.
The education system completely fractured into highly unequal segments. The wealthy simply bought their way out of the crumbling system by creating and retreating to elite private education, our Case B. Meanwhile, the poor were left trapped in underfunded, decaying public schools, our Case A.
It's like a luxury hotel turning into an overcrowded emergency shelter over the course of a century.
Yeah.
But they never bothered to change the sign on the door.
That is a perfect analogy.
People still walk by and think, oh, it's a hotel, it's a high school. But the roof is literally caving in.
That analogy perfectly captures the structural deception. The societal promise remained painted on the door, but the internal reality collapsed, which leads us to a massive legislative attempt to fix this and the bizarre paradox it created.
Right. In 2006, Argentina passes the National Education Law, 26206. This law makes high school mandatory for everyone.
Mandatory.
On paper, you'd think this is the great equalizer. You make education a legal right, you force the system to take everyone in, and inequality gets fixed.
You'd think so, right. But the researcher found that it actually made the class divide unbridgeable.
Unbridgeable? How?
Think about the mechanics. The law legally forced poor, marginalized youth to enter an institution that was historically never built to accommodate their realities.
Okay, yeah.
D'Aloisio refers to them as arriving late to the high school system. They are legal insiders. The law mandates they belong in a desk. But they're practical outsiders. The daily operation of the system rejects them at every turn.
It's like passing a law mandating that everyone in a city must cross a rushing river to get to work, but you only provide a bridge for the wealthy half of the town.
Exactly.
The law doesn't drown you, but the lack of infrastructure guarantees you won't make it to the other side.
Yes. And the data backing this up is staggering. The teaching models, the pedagogical resources, and the infrastructure in the public system were already decades behind the elite school.
Decades behind.
When you force a massive influx of deeply vulnerable youth into a broken foundation, the structure doesn't just bend, it snaps. The researcher points to a massive dropout spike, specifically in the fourth year of high school. We are looking at a nearly 15% dropout rate at that single transition point.
Wait, 15%? Just gone?
Gone.
Why the fourth year specifically? What is mechanically happening to a teenager at that exact age that causes the floor to fall out?
It's the perfect storm of academic and economic pressure. In the Argentine system, the fourth year marks the transition to specialized subjects.
It's like it's harder.
The academic demands suddenly spike, the texts get denser, the grading gets stricter. But simultaneously, these kids are hitting 15 or 16 years old.
Oh, I see where this is going.
This is the exact age where the economic pressure to contribute to their starving families peaks. The labor market suddenly opens up to them, usually illegal under-the-table work.
So they have to choose.
Right. Just as the school demands their maximum cognitive load, survival demands their maximum physical labor. A law on paper cannot fix that collision.
So you have these teenagers caught in a meat grinder, and this researcher wants to study them. But teenagers lie to adults, is universal truth.
Oh, they tell you what you want to hear.
Exactly, especially an adult with a clipboard asking about school.
Okay.
So how did D'Aloisio actually get past their defenses to find out what they really feel?
She used a methodology called social hermeneutics.
Okay, hold on. Social hermeneutics. That sounds like something you need a PhD just to pronounce.
It is a bit dense.
What does that actually look like in practice? Does she just sit in the back of the classroom with a notebook looking stern?
Fair point. Let's strip away the academic jargon.
Yeah.
It basically means deep decoding.
Deep decoding.
You don't just hand a starving 16-year-old a multiple-choice survey, collect it, and walk away. You have to live with them. You have to participate in their daily reality.
So she was really in it.
Over several years, she conducted 99 deep, open-ended surveys, ran 30 intensive focus groups, and crafted 6 deeply intimate biographical profiles.
Wow, that's thorough.
She built genuine trust. She learned to listen to what they were saying, but more importantly, she learned to decode what they were entirely omitting from their stories.
And what she found when she contrasted these two worlds is mind-blowing. Let's look at the numbers she decoded. Case A, the public school on the margins. 53% of these kids have to work to physically survive.
Over half.
48% of them are overage for their grade level, meaning almost half of them have failed and been held back, sometimes multiple times.
Right.
Now, pivot to Case B, the private elite school.
Case B isn't just a different school, it operates under a different set of physical laws.
Really does.
0% of the kids are overage.
0.
Nobody fails. Nobody works a night shift to buy groceries. Their parents are university professors, politicians, and rich professionals. They live in gated communities with private security.
So we aren't just looking at two different schools. We're looking at two completely different planets orbiting the exact same city.
Exactly.
To really grasp this, let's zoom in on Case A, the public shelter.
Yeah.
Because you have to picture what this place physically looks like.
The visual reality of Case A is striking. The windows are shattered. The bathrooms often have no running water.
No running water in a school.
None. The building itself is physically scarred by neglect. But for the teenagers walking through those doors, this broken, decaying building is the only safety net keeping them from total freefall.
Case A is a school fighting a societal collapse. The primary goal here isn't teaching algebraic equations or the intricacies of the French Revolution. It's survival.
And the teachers in Case A are painfully open about this. The basic function of teaching knowledge gets squeezed to the absolute margins of the school day.
They just don't have time for it.
The overwhelming primary function of Case A is care and emotional containment. They are desperately trying to keep kids out of the drug trade that operates right outside the school gates.
That is terrifying.
They're trying to ensure these kids get at least one reliable meal a day from the school cafeteria.
There's a moment in the research where a teacher literally says their main job is to resist the collapse. Think about that.
It gives you chills.
They aren't trying to build a gleaming future. They're just trying to stop the bleeding. They are acting as triage nurses in a war zone, just trying to get these kids to survive until Tuesday.
Exactly. The transmission of academic knowledge is entirely secondary to the physical and emotional safety the building provides. The school has morphed into an emergency trauma center.
Now let's jump to Case B, the elite incubator. The whiplash between these two realities is jarring.
It'll give you whiplash for sure.
In Case B, wealthy parents aren't paying massive tuition fees just to get their kids slightly better history textbooks. What are they actually buying?
They are buying a purified social circle.
A purified social circle.
Case B is a sociological greenhouse. It is perfectly climate controlled. The school uses strict academic entrance testing and heavy reliance on family tradition, prioritizing the children of alumni to ruthlessly filter people out.
So it's designed to keep people out.
They intentionally build a flawless, homogenized space.
It's not a school. It's a VIP airport lounge. It guarantees a first-class, non-stop flight to the university, and it ensures you don't have to sit next to anyone flying economy.
That is precisely how it functions. It guarantees the seamless, frictionless transfer of elite lifestyles. It transfers cultural capital. It transfers money-making habits.
Right.
In Case B, students are taught how to debate confidently, how to command a room, how to lead. The parents are essentially purchasing an environment where their children only interact with people who share their exact level of extreme privilege.
Which brings us back to the daily physical reality of the kids in Case A. We mentioned earlier that 53% of the kids in the public school are working.
Yes.
This means over half the kids are living a grueling double life. They're students by day and exploited laborers by night. How does a 15-year-old manage that?
They get squeezed dry. They work at fast food joints under the table. They do hard physical labor in construction.
They're teenagers.
They are teenagers. But they work like donkeys until 2 in the morning. They serve at high-end banquets, and sometimes, in a cruel twist of irony, they are serving the parents of the kids in Case B.
Are you kidding me?
No, it happens. This work gives them essential pocket money to buy food or clothes, but it completely steals their cognitive bandwidth. It exhausts their bodies beyond repair.
There was a specific word a student named Emiliano uses in the study. He talks about working under the table, and he calls it barriere.
Right, working like a donkey.
You put your head down, you stretch out your hand, you take whatever coins they decide to give you.
Ooh.
Because if you get cut, if you get burned by cooking oil, if you fall off a ladder, there is no insurance.
None.
There is no HR department. You just bleed quietly and go home, hoping they let you come back tomorrow.
It creates a brutal, impossible imbalance on the scale of their lives. Imagine the cognitive load, the massive weight of physically surviving, of perhaps supporting a younger sibling, completely crushes the weight of the school curriculum.
How could it not?
How do you summon the mental energy to study for a history exam when you worked until 2 a.m. washing dishes? Your hands are raw, and you know if you fall asleep in class, you might fail, but if you complain at work, you get fired.
You can't. The human brain literally cannot prioritize the history of the 19th century when the body is in active starvation and exhaustion mode.
It's biologically impossible.
That is why 48% of them have repeated grades. The system looks at them and says, "You failed." But the reality is the system failed to account for the fact that they are running a marathon with boulders tied to their ankles.
Exactly. Now flip the coin. Let's look at the heirs in Case B and their incredibly smooth path.
The heirs, yeah.
For these elite youth, not going to college isn't just unlikely, it is literally impossible. It is as natural as breathing. There is zero suspense in their lives regarding their future trajectory.
It's completely set.
It is a foregone conclusion written the day they were born.
The researcher describes them as living in a psychological waiting room. They have absolute unconditional financial and emotional backing from their parents. Their high school classes are so advanced, they are already using college-level and graduate-level texts.
And crucially, they are completely insulated from risk.
Right.
If they fail a math test, there is immediately a private tutor hired. If they get confused about college applications, there is a dedicated counselor holding their hand.
They can't fail.
The system is structurally rigged to ensure they never, ever fall. They are standing on a moving walkway that carries them straight into the highest echelons of society.
Is it even fair to call it a race?
No.
One group starts 100 meters away from the finish line on a paved track. The other is starting 3 miles back, running barefoot on broken glass. And society judges them both by the exact same stopwatch.
It is entirely unfair, and that unfairness shapes their fundamental relationship with the concept of knowledge itself.
Oh, this part is fascinating.
This is one of the most fascinating divergences in this study. Let's look at what truth and knowledge actually mean inside these two buildings.
In the public school, Case A, knowledge is defined as memorizing a blurry photocopy. In the elite school, Case B, knowledge is a weapon designed to rule society. Break down how that actually happens in the classroom.
Case A suffers from severe systemic structural deficits. Because the pay is terrible and the conditions are exhausting, teachers frequently skip work.
Understandably.
When a teacher is actually present, the pedagogical method is often reduced to pure survival mode. The kids are just copying whatever's on the whiteboard.
Just mindless copying.
The students in the study literally say, if you don't copy, you don't learn. Learning has been entirely reduced to mechanical transcription.
But we have to be clear. It's not because the teachers in Case A are inherently bad educators.
Not at all.
It's because they are exhausted too. They're acting as social workers, conflict mediators, and trauma counselors.
Wearing 10 different hats.
When you spend the first 40 minutes of class making sure a kid isn't having a mental breakdown from a violently abusive home, you don't have the energy to facilitate a Socratic seminar. You write on the board and say, copy this.
Precisely. The context dictates the pedagogy. Now look at Case B. The teachers there demand independent reading. They hold high-level debates on ethics and economics.
They're debating ethics while the other kids are just trying to eat.
They encourage fierce critical thinking. They aren't transcribing facts. They are analyzing systems. They are actively training the rational actors of the future. The kids who will one day run the multinational businesses, write the national laws, and dictate the economy.
And the data reflects this beautifully and tragically. The study shows the outcomes in critical thinking in case B are off the charts. The outcomes for critical thinking in case A barely register.
Barely register.
Why? Because case A is fiercely focused on basic, practical survival skills. How to not get cheated out of your hourly wage. How to read a basic contract so you don't get exploited. That is their hidden curriculum.
And this massive difference in survival pressure completely changes how these teenagers socialize. In case A, socializing isn't about popularity, it's a bomb shelter.
This is a point that really stuck with me. Poor kids don't make friends just for fun. They make friends to build a survival alliance.
They share a profound collective experience of poverty. They share family trauma. They share the crushing stress of their environments.
It's shared trauma.
They build a network not to figure out who is hosting a party this weekend, but so someone can cover their shift at the fast food joint in the brutal future job market. They are building an underground mutual aid society.
One kid in the study explicitly said, "What you socialize here helps you later at work. If you have a doctor's appointment, your friend covers for you."
That's real-world survival.
This isn't a high school clique from a teen movie. This is a trench warfare unit. They are bonding under live fire, creating an alliance because they know the state and the market will not protect them. They only have each other.
Contrast that with case B, where socializing is carefully packaged, curated class purification.
Elite kids love to talk about embracing diversity. They learn all the right progressive buzzwords. They know how to sound empathetic.
They know the vocabulary.
But if you look at their phones, there is not a single poor person in their contacts.
The socializing in case B is a meticulously constructed invisible wall. Parents intentionally use the exorbitant tuition of the school to block out the slums.
They pay for a wall.
They want total control over exactly who their kids meet and eventually marry. D'Aloisio describes this as building concentric circles of socialization.
Unpack that. What do these concentric circles actually look like for a 16-year-old?
The core circle, the absolute center of their universe, is their elite friends from their specific school.
Okay.
The next circle out might be kids from other similarly elite, expensive schools they meet at private sports clubs.
They're still rich.
Still very rich. But the outer ring, the boundary they never cross, is an absolute impenetrable distance from the poor. They learn to interact seamlessly with people exactly like them. They never, ever learn how to interact with the people living on the margins of their own city.
They are literally insulated from the reality of the country they live in. Which brings us to the ultimate symbol of this whole system. The diploma itself.
The diploma.
What does that literal piece of paper actually mean? Let's look at the diploma as a shield in case A.
This is crucial. A high school diploma will not make a poor kid rich. And they are acutely aware of this.
But here it's stupid.
Not at all. They harbor zero illusions that this paper is a magical ticket to a mansion or a luxury car.
So why do they fight for it? Why stay in a crumbling building when you were starving? Because that piece of paper stops them from being treated like an illiterate slave.
For the youth in case A, the diploma is a literal shield against illegal labor exploitation. It is the absolute, non-negotiable baseline of human dignity in their society.
It's armor.
It gives them the legal standing to fight back against workplace injuries, wage theft, and unfair firing. It proves to an employer that they are not completely ignorant. It proves they cannot be easily manipulated or crushed without consequence.
I want you listening to think about your own high school diploma right now. Where is it? Probably in a box somewhere.
Gathering dust.
Did you ever see it as a literal shield to keep you from disappearing from society? Did you see it as legal proof that you aren't an animal to be exploited by a factory boss? For the kids in case A, it is a matter of life and death. It is their armor.
Now look at the diploma as a barcode in case B.
A barcode, I love that.
To an elite kid, a high school diploma is basically trash. It has zero intrinsic value on its own.
It's just a barcode that scans at the door of the country club. It just proves you belong to a good family. They don't care about the high school paper itself.
What they actually care about are the network attachments. They care about the elite alumni network.
Right.
They care about the Cambridge English certificates the private school provides, which grant international mobility. They care about the frictionless fast track to a prestigious master's degree.
So the high school degree is just assumed.
It is the absolute bare minimum, as mundane as putting on shoes before leaving the house.
So we have the exact same piece of paper issued by the same educational authority, meaning literal physical survival for one kid, and operating as a totally meaningless, assumed stepping stone for the other. It is the exact same piece of paper.
Yes, because the societal value of the credential is entirely dependent on the social capital of the person holding it. Which leads us to the ultimate aspiration these kids have. Everyone in the world wants to be someone.
But the definitions of being someone in these two schools are terrifyingly different. Let's unpack the phrase the researcher uses, ser alguien, to be someone.
For the youth, in case A, ser alguien means breaking the suffocating cycle of poverty.
Just breaking the cycle.
It means not scrubbing floors on your hands and knees like your mother. It means not carrying bricks on a construction site until your back gives out like your father.
Right.
It is about escaping the gutter. It is about achieving a baseline of societal respectability so you aren't invisible.
And for case B?
For case B, being someone means self-actualization.
Let's be nice.
It means fulfilling a deep, personal passion. It means finding your specific, unique calling in life, while of course keeping all your massive inherited privileges perfectly intact. It is about finding your personal spotlight on a stage that was already built for you.
We are looking at two completely different pyramids of human ambition. One is desperately focused on not starving and not being exploited. The other is focused on finding inner truth and personal branding. But here is where the psychology gets really twisted. Let's talk about the illusion of the underdog.
This is perhaps the most heartbreaking, counterintuitive finding in the entire study.
The poorest kids, the ones being crushed by the system, actually believe the most in the phrase, if I just try hard enough, I will succeed. Now, is this a beautiful, indomitable fighting spirit? Or is it a deeply cruel psychological illusion?
It's an illusion born of pure necessity, because they have absolutely zero social connections, because they have zero financial safety nets.
Right, they have nothing else.
The youth in case A put 100% of their faith in personal willpower. It is a state of extreme individualism.
Why do they do that? Why do they passionately believe in the fairness of a system that is actively, visibly crushing them every single day?
It is their only mental weapon against despair.
Oh, wow.
Think about the psychology. If a 16-year-old in case A truly accepts that the system is structurally rigged against them, that their poverty is designed and enforced by broader economic forces, the anxiety of being stuck forever would be totally paralyzing.
They wouldn't be able to function.
They wouldn't be able to get out of bed, so they cling to willpower as a raft. If I want to, I can. It is a psychological survival mechanism. They have to believe their sheer sweat and effort matter, because sweat and effort are the only capital they possess.
Wow. They believe in the meritocracy because the alternative is complete nihilism. Now flip that psychology. Let's look at how privilege is normalized in case B.
Rich kids look at their academic and social success and say, I worked really hard for this. I earned this.
Of course they do.
They completely systematically erase the massive multi-million-dollar trampoline their parents bought them.
The kids in case B use the exact same concept of willpower to explain why they are on top. But darker than that, they use it to explain why the poor are on the bottom. They literally believe the poor just didn't sweat enough.
It perfectly masks a totally rigged starting line. If success is purely a mathematical equation of willpower and hard work, then they fundamentally deserve their immense wealth.
Yeah.
And, by consequence, the poor fundamentally deserve their grinding poverty. This belief completely erases the inherited financial capital. It erases the elite networking. It erases the purified social circle we talked about.
It's the classic cliche, but it's true. It's like being born on third base and genuinely believing you hit a triple. But it's not just arrogance, it's a deeply ingrained psychological defense mechanism.
Absolutely.
They have to convince themselves they earned every inch of their status through pure intellect and sweat, so they never have to feel the crushing guilt of their unearned privilege.
To make this entirely concrete, D'Aloisio provides us with deep public biographies. We need to meet the real human beings living behind these percentages. Let's start with Case A, the public school. Meet Sonia.
I want you to picture Sonia. She is 20 years old. She's a mother. She literally carries her infant baby into the high school classroom with her.
Think about how hard that is.
Why is a 20-year-old mother fighting to sit in the high school desk? Because she absolutely refuses to become a maid like her mother.
Sonia's parents didn't finish high school. They work brutal, precarious, under-the-table jobs. Her mother cleans houses for wealthy families. Her father drives a truck.
So she's fighting generational poverty.
Sonia is pushing through unimaginable physical exhaustion, raising a child in poverty while studying just to get that diploma, that shield.
Yeah.
But the reality is she barely graduated.
Really?
She only made it through because the public school implemented desperate inclusion policies and bent the academic rules just to let her pass so she wouldn't drop out.
Her victory is incredibly fragile. Then there is Marcos, another case. A student. He is 17 years old. He is exhausted, but his reaction is totally different. He wants to join the military just to get some respect.
Marcus's profile is fascinating because he actually deeply resents the public school.
Interesting.
He feels the teachers aren't demanding enough, that they've given up on academic rigor. So what does he do? He works to pay for private tutoring outside of school just to catch up academically.
He pays out of his own pocket.
Yes, he craves discipline. He wants rigorous, uncompromising training. But look at his horizon. His dreams are completely bounded by the trauma of his chaotic environment. He sees the military as the only structured, guaranteed way out of the slums.
Their dreams are entirely restricted by their ZIP code. They are fighting with every ounce of their being just to get back to a baseline of 0. Now contrast that with the private biographies in Case B.
Meet Delphina. She is 15 years old. Her mother passed away, so she has total unsupervised freedom at home. She's academically brilliant. She already has early college acceptance locked in.
Yet, despite having the world at her fingertips, she feels entirely empty. Why?
Delphina is highly intelligent, and she rebels against her elite bubble by studying sociology. She actively critiques her elite upbringing and the shallowness of her peers.
So she sees the Matrix?
But, and this is the tragic irony, she is completely paralyzed by the anxiety of losing her class status.
Of course.
She desperately wants to rebel against the system, but she is terrified of falling off the escalator. So her rebellion remains purely intellectual. Her actual actions, her college choices, her social circles remain fiercely tied to maintaining her elite privilege. She critiques the cage, but she refuses to open the door.
And then there is Camila. She is the classic student activist. She protests in the student union. She plays the passionate revolutionary, fighting the power and demanding justice.
But we have to look at the context of Camila's rebellion. She is exploring radical politics safely.
Very safely.
She is operating under the bulletproof umbrella of extreme elite privilege. She can protest, she can occupy buildings, she can shout at the administration all she wants.
Because there are no real consequences for her.
Exactly. Because if she falls, there is a golden net waiting to catch her. Even if she gets suspended, her parents' connections mean she will still go to a top university. She will still land a high-paying job. For Camila, activism is an identity-building hobby. It is not a survival strategy.
So synthesizing all of this, what does this actually mean for us? We are at our final thought. Are we just doomed to repeat history over and over again?
It raises a terrifying question. If our schools no longer lift people up from the bottom, if they just act as sophisticated sociological filters designed to keep everyone exactly in the social class they were born into, what do we do with this institution?
The public school was supposed to be modern society's greatest democratic contract. It was supposed to be the great equalizer. The promise we tell every generation is, you come here, you put your head down, you work hard, and you rise.
But the reality D'Aloisio exposes is that it's a shattered system. It actively uses the beautiful myth of hard work to paint over massive, crushing structural inequality.
It's a smokescreen.
We are looking at a world where the concept of willpower is used as cosmetic makeup. It covers up the ugly reality of a deeply, permanently divided society. The brutal conclusion of this study is that the school system is actually not breaking down.
Wait, it's not.
No, it is functioning precisely as it is currently structured to function, perfectly reproducing the existing social order.
We've spent the last hour seeing how the exact same institution, the high school, acts as a desperate survival bunker for some kids and a luxury escalator for others. It is the same building concept. It operates under the same national legal requirement, yet they're completely different universes.
I want to leave you, the listener, with a final thought to really mull over today. I want you to look at your own life, look at your own job title, look at your own bank account and your own professional network. I want you to honestly ask yourself, how much of where you are sitting right now is actually due to your own hard work and sheer willpower?
That's a heavy question.
And how much of it is due to the invisible barcodes and protective shields you were quietly handed when you were 15 years old? Who really built the track you are running on right now?
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. I hope you look at the schools in your own neighborhood with a completely different set of eyes tomorrow morning. The next time you see someone post a photo of a high school diploma, ask yourself, is that golden ticket real or is it just painted cardboard? We'll see you next time.